I'm going to show you what you can actually do with AI right now, not what it might do someday. This isn't about learning every button in ChatGPT, it's about practical ways you can actually use it in your everyday life. I mean, you can take a picture of something you don't understand and have ChatGPT explain it to you. You can use it to examine old letters and records to help you preserve your family history, or even get step by step help with your computer. Now, if you've heard everybody talking about AI and ChatGPT, you probably have the one big obvious questions. What can I actually do with it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. Hi, I'm Rico, and welcome back to Clicking with Confidence. In a previous video, I showed you how to create a ChatGPT account and load it onto your phone and your computer as well. So let's use that knowledge and get started right away. First thing we can do is take a picture and ask ChatGPT what we're looking at. And one of the easiest ways to see why AI is different from a regular Google search is to give it a picture. Let's say you have a label, a piece of mail, or something you're having trouble understanding. Take a picture with your phone, upload it to ChatGPT and ask, explain this to me in simple language. That's it. I mean, maybe you're looking at the label on a prescription bottle and you're not quite sure what something means on it. You know, ChatGPT can help with explain what's on that printed label. Now, obviously, AI is not your doctor or pharmacist, and we're not asking it to help us understand how the medicine works. We're just asking it to explain what's already sitting in front of us. And here's another one that's a little more fun. Open the refrigerator, I dare you, and take a picture and ask, what can I make for dinner with what you see here? ChatGPT can look at what's in there and suggest something to make. And please don't judge me by what's in my refrigerator, because ChatGPT doesn't. So the second thing you can do is have it explain things you don't understand. And this is probably one of the ways I use AI the most. I mean, we've all received something in the mail or read something online or landed on a website and thought, what in the hell does that mean? So instead of reading it over 5 times and getting frustrated, give it to ChatGPT and say, explain this to me in plain English. So let's say, for example, you're shopping for a new phone. You find a bunch of articles comparing several models, but now you're reading about processors and megapixels and all this other stuff that you really don't understand or even care about. So let's ask ChatGPT. You know, ask it. I'm an everyday phone user. Which of these things actually would matter to me? Now you're getting somewhere. And once you realize that AI can do this, you'll start using it whenever you run into something that makes you think, I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Wonder if AI can explain it to me. Things that come to mind are like insurance paperwork and government websites. I mean, I think those are deliberately written to see if we're paying attention. A quick warning, ChatGPT can be wrong, even when it sounds completely confident. So if it's something important, especially like medical, legal, or financial, verify it with a professional human. Think of ChatGPT as your assistant, not the final authority. You can use AI to help you preserve your family history, and this may be one of my favorite examples of all. People are using ChatGPT and other AIs to help with genealogy and family history. You know, they don't use it to magically track down all the long lost relatives and all that. That's not how you should use it. But suppose you already have like a lot of old handwritten letters that you can't read because they're either faded or the cursive is too odd. You know, the person didn't have great handwriting. Take a picture, upload it, and ask, please transcribe this handwriting. If you're unsure about a word, tell me instead of guessing at it. Or maybe you've got an old military record full of abbreviations you don't understand. You know, ChatGPT can help explain what's on the page and point you towards what to research next. Here's where I think it gets really interesting. Maybe you've already spent years collecting all the names, dates, pictures, stories, all that about your family. You can give all that information to an AI like ChatGPT and say, using only the information I gave you, turn this into a short family history that my kids and grandkids would enjoy reading. Don't make up any facts, just make it enjoyable to read. And it will give you a good first draft, and then you can edit it from there. All those pieces of information sitting in boxes, photo albums, and folders can become something your family might actually keep and enjoy. And believe me, that is not AI replacing your family history. That's like helping you preserve it. And remember, with family history, the original document is always the true proof and evidence, so keep it around. Okay, next, let's use ChatGPT or another AI as your personal tech support. Now, this may save, quite a few phone calls to your kids or grandkids, and they'll probably appreciate that as much as you do. But if something on your phone or computer is driving you crazy, ask ChatGPT for help. For example, the words on my iPhone are too small. Give me step-by-step instructions to make the text larger. Here's the important part. Tell ChatGPT how you want those instructions. You can say, I'm not very technical. Give me one step at a time and don't skip anything. That makes a big difference. And if you get to step 3 and something doesn't match with the instructions or what you're seeing, instead of starting over, just tell it, I got to step 3, but I don't see the button you're talking about. Please explain. And then continue from there. And unlike your grandkids, ChatGPT isn't going to say, I showed you how to do this last week. Because now you're having a conversation about your actual problem instead of bouncing between 10 different websites hoping that you stumble across the right answer. Now, you're saying, Rico, that's a lot of typing, especially like on a phone or something. Great news. You don't need to type. You can talk to it. You can talk instead of typing anything. You can use the microphone to dictate your question or use the voice feature in ChatGPT and actually have a spoken conversation with it. In voice, you talk to it and it talks back to you. So instead of typing, give me instructions for connecting my printer to Wi-Fi, just press the voice button and just say it. It can, and then it can answer you out loud and you can keep the conversation going by asking it more questions. Especially if you don't understand something, just ask it to explain that part again in a different way. And this works really well for emails too, by the way. Just say, write a short, friendly email thanking my neighbor for helping me yesterday. If it sounds too formal, tell it, make it sound a little more casual and more like me. Bottom line, you provide the thought, ChatGPT helps you with the wording. And you don't even have to learn some special computer language. You just talk to the way you would talk to a normal person. And I think that's one of the biggest things that it makes AI approachable. You don't have to learn how the computer thinks. The computer is learning how to understand you. You can use AI to do a lot more fun things too, like something people often overlook is, okay, maybe it's Saturday, and you're thinking, boy, I'd like to get out of the house today, but I have no idea what's going on. Ask ChatGPT or an AI. Find activities for people over 60 near me this weekend. And then you can narrow it down. I don't want to drive very far. I'd rather be outside. And while we're at it, free would be awesome. So now you're zeroing in on what you actually want to do without spending an hour or so bouncing around Google and reading Yelp reviews, okay? That's the part I like. And you don't have to get the perfect answer with your first question. Just keep talking to it until you get what you're actually looking for. The last point is a little unusual, and I don't think nearly enough people use it like AI like this. Use ChatGPT to help you think and learn. It doesn't always have to give you an answer. Sometimes it can help you work through one. Let's say you're deciding between an iPhone and an Android phone, like before. Instead of asking which one is better, give it a little more information. Tell it, I care about simplicity, reliability, and price more than fancy features. Help me compare them. Now the answer is based on what matters to you. And here's another use I really like. Use ChatGPT or another AI to quiz you. Maybe you want to brush up on some history. So ask it, teach me something interesting about the Civil War, and then ask me 5 questions to see what I can remember. Now you're not just reading or listening, you're participating. And fortunately for us, unlike school, nobody's going to ratch out to your parents if you fail the quiz. I think that the best way to look at AI is don't worry about becoming an AI expert. don't need to understand how every part of it works. Start with something you already do. So the next time you're confused by something, struggling to write something, or fighting with your phone, ask one question: could ChatGPT help me with this? I think you will be surprised by the answers. Here's my challenge for you today. Try one of these things this week. Not all 7, just one. Because once you've seen that AI can help you solve a real problem, you'll probably start thinking, I wonder if ChatGPT can help me with this too. And that's when it truly becomes useful. If you're learning AI and technology later in life, that's exactly what Clicking with Confidence is all about. It's making this stuff understandable and, more importantly, useful. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and share if you have the time. I'd really appreciate it. I'm Rico, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And bonus points if you can tell me who this famous AI is up here.